everyone, I'm Daniela, and this is episode 3 of Historical Paranormal, and in this episode we'll look at US Highway 666, now known as 491 and 191 in some stretches. It's a desolate 200-mile desert highway that runs through the four corners of the United States. The states it runs through are Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico, and it passes through the tribal nations of the Navajo Nation and UT tribe. How US 666 got its numbering was devised by the Joint Board on Interstate Highways. East to west roads were given even numbers, north to south roads odd numbers, transcontinental and main east-west roads were assigned 2-digit numbers ending in 0, while main north-south routes carried numbers ending in 1. 3-digit numbers were assigned to alternate routes and branches of main roads. Following complaints from Kentucky and other states in the east that 60 should have been assigned to a transcontinental route through their state, the number 60 became the subject of the most protracted and bitter controversy involving the numbering plan. The compromise solution was to assign 60 to a route from Virginia Beach, Virginia to Springfield, Missouri, and 66 to Chicago to Los Angeles. AASHO sent ballots to the states involving to seek approval. By August 7th of 1926, enough states had approved the change for AASHO to consider the matter closed. The change to 66, which is now defunct, meant that the former branches of 60 had to be renumbered as branches of the new number. Therefore, the sixth branch, US 660, became US 666. Over the years, US Route 666 has sometimes been the object of controversy because of its number, which is associated with the beast or the Antichrist in the Bible. Revelation 13:18 states, "Let him who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. His number is 666. The association is a result of gematria, a system of numerology that assigns a value to each letter of the alphabet. A word can thus be counted by adding the value of each letter. Through gematria, 666 is the biblical number of the beast. Because the letters comprising the name of the beast add up to 666, the identity of the beast is unclear, although Roman Emperor Nero is a possibility. The association with the beast earned US 666 the nickname Devil's Highway or Satan's Speedway. USA Today quoted a state trooper who recalled a suspect of drunk driving who told him, "666 is evil, everyone dies on that highway." The Wall Street Journal titled an article, "Beast of a Highway, Does Asphalt Stretch Have Biblical Curse?" referring to the highway's dangers. The article quoted a resident who blamed Satan. After all, the highway has the devil's name. It has also been the subject of a cartoon in the New Yorker's issue of February 23rd of March 2nd, 1998. A Corvette-type open-top sports car is passing the US 666 sign. The driver and his passenger are depicted as satanic figures. In 2001, Lionsgate Home Entertainment released Route 666, a movie starring Lou Diamond Phillips. He and Lori Petty play FBI agents assigned to deliver a government informant to court. The Internet Movie Database summarized the plot as Smith, a mob informer hiding out with the Witness Protection Program, decides to make a break for it and hides out in the Arizona desert. The feds catch up with him and rescue him just before a group of hitmen can manage to silence him for good. In the course of getting Smith away from the mafia thugs, the pair of agents assigned to protect him turn onto an abandoned stretch of highway nicknamed Route 666. After the mysterious death of the prison chain gang, as the three continue to their way, they soon discover just what happened to the chain gang and how the highway earned its name. The route also played a small part in director Oliver Stone's controversial 1994 movie, Natural Born Killers. Despite the biblical reference and the image, US Route 666 has gained over the years. The gematria calculation had nothing to do with the numbering of the route, and it was also the center of the copper mine strike of 1983. Route 666 was named one of the 20 most dangerous highways in America. Drivers describe being beset with mysterious and pervasive feelings of anxiety and dread, or a sense of impending evil while driving. Mechanical failure incidents or overheating, engine troubles, flat or blown tires, electrical malfunctions, breakdowns, and numerous other freak accidents were common along this route. Some skeptics will suggest that the reason so many accidents occurred was because of the monotonous, hypnotizing effect that the scenery has, and that drivers would grow tired and become convinced that there was a link between their misfortune, deaths, and the highway's satanic number. Another prevalent paranormal theme on this route was phantom vehicles. The most notorious phantom car was a menacing black sedan, known as Satan's sedan, that allegedly prowls the highway to terrorize others. What will happen with Satan's sedan is the driver will be driving along the highway and be besieged by a potent feeling of inexplicable terror upon sunset. As soon as the sun dips below the horizon and darkness descends, the driver will notice a pair of flickering headlights moving rapidly closer from the distance behind them. This is almost always said to happen right after sundown and on nights of a full moon. Accelerating away is said to do no good, as the phantom vehicle will close in no matter how fast you try to outrun it. Some say the mysterious car will pull up beside them and pace them for a time before speeding into the black of night, sometimes even honking its horn or revving its formidable engine in an intimidating manner. Others have claimed that the car will bump or smash into them from behind or sideswipe them before roaring off. Other witnesses have described the sedan barreling toward them at high speed with no sign of slowing or stopping, and being forced off the road onto the shoulder, only for the spectral car to blaze off into the desert night. Those who have tried to get a look at the driver of the malicious black sedan have variously stated that no one seems to be driving, or that a shadowy figure is hunched over the wheel, or that the windows are all tinted completely black. Many witnesses have alleged to have been set upon by an ominous vehicle only to look up and find that it has completely vanished without a trace, leaving them once again alone in the cold desert night with fear. A ghostly semi-truck that is purportedly manned by an aggressively demonic entity is said to careen down the highway as well, at breathtaking speeds, chasing or even smashing cars off the road and sometimes terrorizing people who have broken down, many of whom have described having the feeling that the truck was intentionally trying to target them as it sped by. Another menacing trait of Route 666 is the phantom dogs. Sightings of phantom dogs or hellhounds, sometimes in packs. Legend has it these creatures have supernatural speed and can keep pace with moving cars, while snarling and snapping their jaws and shred tires and gouge metal with their sharp teeth and claws, or try enter a moving vehicle by smashing windows to maul the driver or passengers. A few motorists have also described being certain that they had hit one of the hounds with their car, only for the creature to run off completely uninjured. Many of the accidents have been attributed to these dogs. Another strange creature that walks the highway is the Skinwalkers. According to native legends, Skinwalkers are the spirits of evil medicine men with the ability to magically transform into various animals such as coyotes, crows, or wolves. Once in an animal form, the Skinwalker have the unnerving habit of running out in front of a vehicle or even entering the vehicle as a phantom passenger, as they morph back into the human form in the back seat. From mere mischief-making, native legends say the Skinwalkers carry out their harassment in order to steal or devour souls, or any who happen to crash and die as a result. The Native Americans of the region believe that one way to prevent a Skinwalker from appearing in one's car is to make sure that there is nowhere for it to sit. Like the phantom hounds, many motorist accidents were attributed to the sighting of Skinwalkers. Another apparition that haunts the road of Route 666 is faceless hitchhikers and a young woman in white who seems to need help, sometimes posing as a hitchhiker. She usually stands in the middle of the highway, and when offered assistance, she vanishes. Another eerie attribute of Route 666 are disappearances and time loss. There are many instances of drivers reporting that time has a habit of somehow stretching out or slowing down here, claiming that it took much longer to traverse a certain distance than expected. Conversely, there are also those who claim to have experienced large chunks of lost time, or have seemingly teleported over vast distances. Some of these lost time reports describe victims somehow disappearing in one location and appearing in another several hours later, often from their starting point and with no idea of where they had been or what they had done in the lost time. There are additionally stories of drivers who have disappeared without a trace for days or even weeks, only to suddenly reappear somewhere along the highway with no recollection recollection of anything that has gone on during the time they were missing. A good amount of instances of people vanishing along Route 666 only to never be heard from again. This frequent discovery of mysteriously abandoned cars with no sign of the original owner is a grim testament to this, and for some of the missing, no car has ever been found at all. And lastly, there are bolts of light that have been seen on this route, which come in the form of strange orbs floating around the road, usually in the quietest stretches of the road, where the driver is on their own. So, due to all of the superstition and unease and growing concern among the public, and the stigma associated with the road, and how business was being affected by the lack of people willing to travel the cursed highway, and the fact that development had been stagnated due to the aversion many had to the perceived satanic number. On May 31st of 2003, the American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials approved a new number for the remaining segments of US 666 in Arizona, Colorado, and New Mexico. At the request of state transportation officials, renamed that route 491. And a spur of it in Colorado and Utah, US 191. It's said that after the route was renumbered, the amount of paranormal activities and fatalities greatly declined. There's a belief that the number itself was attracting dark forces or energy to the barren highway to wreak havoc on those who travel it. Perhaps much of this was due to how poorly maintained the region was, because afterward, whenever it was renamed in 2003, there were several major construction projects which were undertaken to improve the overall safety of the highway. And Native American tribes had long complained of negative effects on the decrepit road and what those effects were having on tourism and the economy. The construction projects were deliberately timed to coincide with the renaming of the highway, and even a ceremony was performed by Native medicine men to cleanse the newly numbered highway of evil spirits. However, despite the name change, there are some that claim to still experience paranormal activity along that stretch of road. So, what do you think? Do you think that this route was ever haunted to begin with, that the numbering attracted dark forces, and that it still is haunted? I'd like to know what your thoughts are on this edition of Historical Paranormal. Thank you for listening, and God bless.